Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The information reaching our desk now is some few minutes ago, the officers from EACC raided current residence of Speaker Moses Masika Wetangula. And while it is clothed and reported as an anti or corruption raid, political pundits argue that the coincidence of EACC raiding Wetangula at the time he's leading an urgent leadership of parliamentary leaders in Mombasa, the coincidence is stinking to a political witch hunt. And in this podcast, we are going to look into the details of that. I have seen a speech from Wetangula talking in Mombasa, looking a bit shaken, and we are going to delve more into the details of this. But first, kindly, we are in Njoro for Njoro Mission, and here is a call to support a mother who is blind, widowed. She lost her husband in PEV after PEV last year. She was then displaced and given a place to call home, but the house and the structure is in a very poor state. It's actually leaking and is not even safe for herself, given that she's in that condition. But Rahab Ngina's story is special to us. That despite the fact that she's also disabled or having that disability, she took over a boy, a very young boy who was just picked around there when was very young, and showed an element of kindness, of humanity. So she sleeps and spends time with that young boy there. The boy you were seeing is actually mtu mwenye anamtembeza. Remember, she has a walking challenge. She cannot move easily. And that is why our intervention here is to support her, put up a house. We've resorted for a 2-bedroom house for her and the boy. And we can also take care of education of kijana when school opens in September. And that is why I'm rallying you that, guys, let's come together. As we always say, kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba, so that we can restore dignity. This is what she calls a house, her place. And you can look at even the condition of those beddings. So we'll do the house, and after doing the house, we can get for her some beddings. And apart from beddings, we'll also sort the education ya kijana. And we believe that one day, maybe hata tukipeleka mtoto shule, akirudi apate mahali anaweza eka kichwa, anaweza lala. And if that can turn around, maybe that young boy one day come back and turn around things in that home.
Sasa hii nikupewa nilipe yangu ni mingine. Nikachekelea hivi. Sasa naweka manguo hivi.
Na imeisha ukweli.
Sasa katoto tunalala nako. Hapa. Makojo hata makojo tunalala. Unaona hapa makojo. Tunalala na mimi nalala hapa na ako hapa. Tunapaka paka makojo hata siku.
Kama makojo
yote. Sasa mtoto tunalala na sisi tuende kanisa. Tuende shule sasa ndipo tunaishi. Ndiye Mungu asante. Kwa jina naitwa Rahab Ngina Mwangi. Naomba watu wa moyo wa upendo na huruma wanisaidie tu. Kwa sababu kwenye maisha naishi ya maisha ya shida. Niko na mtoto hapa, nataka naomba msaidie kwa sababu atamani na shule au usaidizi macho haonagi vizuri. Msaada sipatagi hata serikali hata kitu hata kidogo. Hata nyumba wakati tulichomewa hatukujengewa hata tukupatia hata msaada. Yote ni mashida tu na nimepitia shida hata mzee alikuwa kwa ni vita tu.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I'm calling on you. I've already started, niambia wachimbe. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to go and start buying materials kidogo kidogo. The budget is huge, around 300,000 to put up a decent house and of course acquire all this. But we say we can. I started this last night, already have 23,450. And kindly, hakuna ka kidogo for the 10, for the 5. And I want to say thank you for those who have responded to this call from my end. And we can do it. The president alluded to the fact that some members of parliament were trooping to State House to collect money in the name of Parliament. And in her statement, he questioned whether that money gets to parliamentarians. At the time, the country is talking about who is this person that collects money from President Ruto. EACC is raiding Wetangula's residence in Karen. And according to reports, the search that is still undergoing, by the time I was shooting this video, the search is still undergoing. And I will come back probably as the story develops, but it has started to this point on what they have found there. Sometimes when they go, what normally happens is some cash found stashed somewhere. We've seen this, all this happening. And EACC runs an intelligence-led operation where if you withdraw some money and take to your house, that's where they normally go to people's houses. I've always asked, why do EACC raid people's houses? It's because it's it's a very bad act, but it happens that corruption proceeds are always kept in cash. And I'm not saying that is it. We are going to find out from their outcome. But apart from the corruption angle, it also has political undertones. If you check the faces of MPs in the coast, they look worried. I told you there is a 2-day retreat that was called, an urgent retreat that was called by Parliament, by the Speaker of the Parliament to discuss all this. And people were actually saying that Wetangula might have irritated President Ruto by calling an urgent Parliament meeting to discuss the corruption allegation that William Ruto raised against the House. And I saw yesterday Kingi is the first person who confronted the president on this matter.
Honorable Senators, I thought I was very elaborate in this communication. So let's leave it there. Honorable Senators, let's leave it there. Yes, Honorable Senators, the up rising. Now, Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until Wednesday, 27th of August, 2025 at 9:30 a.m.
According to me, from where I am seated, the Speaker is third most powerful person in this country after the Deputy President. The hierarchy is President, Deputy President, then the Speaker. The raid on the residence of Speaker on whether there is a corruption allegation or not can only be sanctioned by none other than President Ruto. And I'm not saying that EACC cannot, but if you understand the state of our politics, remember this has a lot of ripple effect. If you look at how our politics is run, in this country, when Attorney General's son was abducted, Muturi had to look for President Ruto directly. And it took President Ruto for Muturi's son to be brought back. For Wetangula raid to be done, this is a clear sanction from President Ruto. And that is why Moses Masika Wetangula is looking very worried in Mombasa, and even others are looking worried. Speaker's current residence is actually a public, it's taxpayers' money. And it's under 24 surveillance of the intelligence and the security agencies in the country. And I want to say it this way. People look at a political malice in it. I know at the time, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the president, said that some MPs were soliciting money from executive. I did an analysis last night and I did tell you that what William Ruto actually meant is that watu wanaendaga kwake wanachukua pesa to pass bills. Now, MPs have been demanding since yesterday two things. That instead of putting us together and crowd judging the MPs, just pick specific people and let the relevant institutions take care of that. Could it be that this was a high-profile hatched raid to try to answer the question? But look here, I told you we will arrest them. Remember, this came days after President said we will arrest them. And then the raid is on ASCC. What is supposed to follow next? Wetangula, depending on what the outcome of that raid, Wetangula could be a candidate for arrest. And it is what should ordinarily happen is irrespective as to whether you're the president, you're the speaker, or the cabinet secretary, you should be individually liable for a corruption. But because of the nature of our politics, for you, because there is a political, there is a political balance on this, especially for the president to go after the speaker, something is being communicated. And there is a message clearly coming from State House. And that is what I want to see here. While on 50%, the president could genuinely, probably EACC could be genuinely pursuing Wetangula. And I'm saying that because all these MPs are corrupt. All these people you see in leadership, from president all the way to Kochini, all those people have corruption dealings. So you just choose when is it convenient to go after who. When is it convenient to go after who? And if the speaker is to be found in some sort of corruption, what do you think is going to follow? What do you think? Two things. He either heeds to the call, lie low and kneel for the president, or face an impeachment. Remember, Wetangula's Ford Kenya party has declined to fold to join UDA. At this point, it would be interesting if Wetangula is impeached. Actually, he's one of the speakers worst. I think the Standard was saying the other day, him and King among some of the worst speakers in the history of this country. But let's look at objectively the political scheme apart from what is actually probably a problem in corruption. And I need to say this. If you are pursuing Wetangula, you go a raid. The timing of the raid is also very interesting. Yes, the timing is interesting. And what is normally this hula baloo about going to raid someone's residence? Like, what is this money you're going to look for? As in, what is this document? I'm a bit interested because I want to believe that there should be institutional memory so that if there was money that was taken to account and so by so, it's interesting. But it will be good to see how this story develops. There are some 5 factors that playing here. The first one, Wetangula impeachment ground is loading. And maybe the president's pronouncement in Karen could be headed there. Is it a coincidence that when President was in Karen, he attacked Parliament after bringing together both UDA and ODM MPs? Remember, if UDA and ODM MPs merge, they can impeach Wetangula. Just the same thing that was done for Rigathi. And it will be a very interesting quagmire, messy one, if Ruto and Raila were hatching a scheme to impeach Rigathi Gachagua for some political equilibrium. It will be interesting to see how that plays out. It will be interesting. Our politics are still predominantly, we are actually creating a monster from a man who had actually been done. It will be good to see that. The second observation I'm seeing there is this. Today, Rigathi Gachagua is coming back in the country, the one-term clarion call. I have seen media, I've seen police, I've seen members of public, all walks of life, trooping to JKA to receive Rigathi Gachagua. Was someone also just plotting this to divert the attention of the country? And if it is to divert attention of the country, why not Ichung'wa? Why not Kingi? Why Wetangula? Well, that can also serve the purpose. But that to me is peripheral. There is a core thing happening. The other objective here, William Ruto wants to pacify parliament. And maybe is sacrificing Wetangula at this point. He's realized that if you look at the body language of the MPs, and the MPs can even think of impeaching him, he would want to pacify and say, I did not mean MPs, I meant the Speaker. Remember the Speaker of the National Assembly. And when I did my analysis yesterday, I did mention to you that amongst the offices that can collect money, extortion offices in Parliament, if you talk to parliamentarians, is the office of the Speaker and that of the Majority Leader and the Parliamentary Service Commission, led by the office of the clerk. Those are the three most powerful offices that any president will use to infiltrate parliament. And today, the office of the Speaker is under raid, is raided. So is someone, and I said, if this is it, it is, if you ask me, yes, Wetangula can collect, but all these others can also collect. Kwani wakati wanaenda empowerment programs wanapewa pesa ya serikali kwenda kufanya empowerment program, ni Wetangula wanawapea? Hapana. And the more we go personality raids on this corruption, that's where we are getting wrong. There could have been a personal vendetta against Wetangula. Has Wetangula eaten William Ruto's money? Or is there a deal gone wrong somewhere? By the way, these things don't happen. Third most powerful man in the country to be raided by EACC, who ordinarily could be his juniors, my friend. Eh? Is it somewhere a deal gone wrong, a promise not met, or someone has eaten money? Or it could be something else, another scandal in the making. But lastly, Wetangula raid could also be staged to sound warning shots, a warning shot to the members of parliament. And I want you to just think about it. If the Speaker's residence is raided, how about any member of parliament who hears that and knows that one way or the other is corrupt? Is he going to talk? Clothed as a fight against corruption, bribery in parliament, could also mean just someone that is pushing for one objective, to make sure that MPs coil their tails. It's a suppression tactic. Not even so much will come out of it. And of course, we know this has happened. I want you to imagine the Speaker appearing in parliament, appearing in court, facing corruption charges. Will he go back to parliament and sit as the Speaker? And if an MP hears that and one way or the other has collected money, is keeping money, will he even talk? So much at stake, ladies and gentlemen. Let's support Rahab Gina Maina. Kidogo kidogo jaza kuibaban. Thank you very much for responding.